And that is the moment that I knew that this platform is absolutely going to work because of the effect that it has on me as a developer. We are building a new kind of supercharged tip jar so that communities of users can work together to drive the development of the kinds of features that they want. The way we're building things. First, the users will enroll into streams. Every stream has a purpose, and every week it matches together all of the enrollments, and the matched funds will be used in support of that general purpose. Second, some users have a lot more experience with the software and can both understand regular users' problems and can communicate well with programmers because many of them are programmers. Just by asking support questions, we can find them, and in return for their support, we can trust them to spend the funds smartly on things that are important for the community. Third, after each weekly cycle, the delegates can decide who among the programmers did work that the users wanted or made something really cool that nobody expected, and then pay those programmers the funds from the stream. This is a new model that we're going to iterate on, so things will change pretty quickly and be a little bit rough. We're a scrappy startup, but hopefully we can grow pretty quickly so that we can build a way, especially for non-programmers, to drive the development of the software that they need through an open source model. Now, the legend goes that the programmers and businesses will solve their own problems, and then we will get to use their stuff for free. But programmers solve programmer problems in programmer ways. This is the kind of user interface that we will make for ourselves. The self-help model cannot scale to billions of average users who are not programmers. And we need to think at that scale because open source is about more than just easy access to high-quality programs keeping the competition honest. Open source puts power into the hands of users. We need people to have control over how they communicate, build community, and do commerce. Because when too many users are too dependent on too few big platforms, those big platforms will eventually slow us down and start disrupting our societies so that things will stay the same for them. Now, if we're all going to benefit, it's easy to say, let's cooperate. It'll be easier. We can do things we can't do alone. But calling for cooperation without a means of coordination really just means you go first. Somebody else will do it. That's not going to get things done. Now, what's different about what we are building is that it does create coordination. We all move together, a little bit at a time, and the little tips move the big tips. And the more of us there are, the bigger steps we can take. So the cooperation is always conditioned on more of the same kind of cooperation. Your dollars move other people's dollars and move that participation to a higher level. And it's all automated, there's no negotiations, it just works. So these are the kinds of things we are building and improving. Tools of coordination so that when the opportunity for cooperation is obvious, it just happens. But we're also designing ways to make the money smarter, because the key to making this work is you can't just have a way to raise a lot of money. You have to make sure that it's spent in smarter ways. And the users who can make this happen are the experienced users who know the programs really well, because all of us have tons of ideas about how to make things better. But it's too much information to just throw at the programmers one at a time. And a lot of these ideas are really support questions in disguise, where the programs do what we want, but we need a little bit of familiarity to find our way around. And when the expert users are doing that support for the experienced users, an efficient arrangement just naturally emerges. And by doing this kind of tiered support, we refine what we're thinking into well-tested, curated ideas to put through to the programmers, who have some ideas of their own and just need some insights into what the typical users are trying to do. And this representative, broad base of informed users understands. The advantage that this creates for new users is that they have a way to get support and to make the software get built and to get better. For experienced users, in exchange for support, they get delegated more control over the tips, which lets them solve a little bit more of the problems that are a little more important to them, which probably are the right problems to solve to make truly high-quality software. The advantage for programmers is even deeper, because experience, street cred, and having an impact all still matter. But so does getting some concrete gratitude when you've done some concrete work at 3 a.m. But the biggest advantage is finally having a complete picture of a sustainable way to build software that is really designed for millions and millions of users through an open source model. The value propositions of open source are second to none. First, you never have to buy the same thing twice. Once it's built, you can use it forever. Second, it's never distorted to fit a business model. It's only focused on getting the job done. Third, nobody can stop somebody from doing a better job supporting the programs that you use. They don't own it. They can't stop somebody from making it better. And lastly, this stuff creates tons of incidental value all up and down society when people do what they are capable of rather than what a software publisher would prefer to allow them to do. So what we're going to focus on is building the best possible tip jars and making them smarter and operating them and all that that requires. Starting with making some tip jars for some of these smaller communities that we already understand pretty well. What you'll do by supporting them is showing people that this is a model that will work. Because if we can make things better in these small communities, that will prove that we can scale this up to the bigger communities. And before long, software that you use will get a whole lot better. Thanks.
Not bad, partner. Follow me. I'll cover you.